everybody, and welcome. This is the TLC Arts and Skills Expo, and we are here on a glorious sunny Sunday morning. And I'm here. I'm your host, Nicole Georges Bennett, with my co-host Joan Lawler, and we are co-teachers at the TLC Arts Ministry, and we are just so happy and thrilled to be here again for another year. We will be showcasing the best of the best. These are all of the artistic projects that we have done over the year, and we will be exhibiting them and also raising some funds for a good cause for the Lakeside Church. So, Joan, I just want to say good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for watching again, and I hope that you would see a lot of our artwork. These are done by the members of the Lakeside Church, and we're proud and so happy to be exhibiting this and be proud to be with you today.
Thank you, thank you. So we have some fabulous artwork on sale, but I just wanted to highlight this one. Isn't this amazing? So Joan is the proud artist behind this. So Joan, maybe you can tell us a little bit about the Bible story that inspired this
So,
particular painting.
thank you. Many of you know the story of Jesus falling asleep in the boat, and as they're crossing the Sea of Galilee, and then there was a storm, so they had to wake him up, and Jesus, of course, had to calm the storm, and that's the inspiration of this painting. So there's a bit of storm cloud and a little bit of splashing on the boat, and the guys, I don't know if you can see, they're in the shadows. And so Jesus had to tell the water to be still. So they did. So that's the inspiration behind it.
And I remember the disciples just reacted in pure shock, and they were like, who is this that even the wind and the seas obey him? But that's who Jesus is. He is supreme.
Absolutely.
Over all the elements of the world and over our hearts. So, folks, we are going to be showing you some fabulous art pieces just like this one. And as she said, it's been produced by members of the Lakeside Church. So we're going to have some wonderful footage for you today that you're really going to enjoy. Keep it here.
Yeah, hi everybody. Okay, so we're just sort of demonstrating how to take a nasty hole that maybe has occurred through an angry teenager or a doorknob in your wall. This is regular drywall, half-inch drywall board. It's really not that strong. It might not be as big as this, but if you have a hole that's this big, I recommend you put a backer in behind it and clean up the hole. If you have just a little indentation in a wall, you can just skim right over that with some drywall compound a few times and make that hole go away, prime it, and then paint it. But in the case of something where you actually have a hole, you got to deal with it, I would say get a backer behind it. So here it is in its nastiest state. Now here it is here, and I've cleaned it up, I've made it square, and now I've prepared it for the backer. Now this is a wall, and gravity would take this away. Now this is what we're going to use for a backer. This is a piece of wood that comes behind the drywall to support it. So I'm going to put it here like this and like that, and then I would screw it in place. Notice I've got myself a nice long 2-inch drywall screw screwed into it so that I don't lose this thing down inside the wall, and then I started using bad language that I shouldn't use as a Christian. Anyway, so you get the idea. So we're going to show that in a minute. Now over here, how did I clean up? How did I clean it up? Okay, here's your nasty hole. I took something square. You have your piece of wood. You take your knife. You scribe square with it, or you can put a pencil down and make a line. Square it off as best as you can, right? Then you're going to take some sort of a saw or something. This is actually a drywall saw. I'm going to just saw out to the corner. If you saw rather than cut with the knife, you're going to find that your edges are sort of nastier. The saw makes a raggedy edge. So I'm going to go down into each corner. And hopefully, if it obeys, it'll just sort of break away for me. Then I'll have to come along and clean it up with a knife. So this is just actually how you kind of get your hole. Now it's going to break, see? Oh, wait, there we go. So it breaks on the place where you cut it. That's why you want to make a nice straight score. Then you come along with your knife and you clean it up and make it nice and square. So, don't want to bore you with watching me do that, but that's how you do it. Make it nice like this. Then you can come in with your nice squared off piece of patch, and you're away to the races. I'll continue and I'll show you sort of like the finished product over on this one. Okay, so we'll be coming this and I'll finish it off here. Alrighty? Alright folks, so here we are at your final piece of board. Drywall board, I mean, and you're doing the repair. I squared it up, cleaned it up. I actually used 2 pieces of 2x2 in here. That's a 3x2, but it doesn't really matter. The idea is to get something strong in behind it, so it's not going to go anywhere. I took some time. I cut my. I have my patch. I used my patch to make a template for cutting my drywall, so I know this is going to be a perfect fit for that. And now I just have to screw this home, and you would put the tape on it and be done. Oops, this is adjusted a little too aggressive. Hang on. There we go. Better. I don't want to over tighten these screws. You can see how the screws are supposed to be pulled in below the level of the drywall board, so that obviously when you are finished your repair, there's a little indentation there. Even this screw, you can tell if their screws are sticking up. If your putty knife catches on the top of the screw, it's not down far enough. Actually, that one has to go down a little deeper. So I'm going to drive that one in a little further. back it out. There we go. We got it down deep enough. Now when we mud it, it'll all be gone. Now I am going to show you just quickly. You don't just mud it, you put some tape on it like this. Oops, this tape is a bit old, so it's not quite so sticky, but it doesn't have to go over the screws. It's fighting me. Sorry folks, the tape is actually a bit old, and I think that's why it's not adhering like it should, but if it was new it would stick down better. Yeah, we should. I don't know if this is gonna stick. I could be using a knife, but you get the idea. There. Now, hit that with your... Now we got our drywall compound ready. The key with when you're doing this kind of a thing is you do not want to use too much on your first passes. That's the mistake that many people make. And then they end up having to do a whole lot of unnecessary sanding and general inconvenience. So you would probably have to do this 3 more times to get it so that you don't see any tape at all. That's the idea. You would have to just lightly sand this. Now it's okay that there's some bumps on that. Keep your tools clean and reseal your compound. Don't let it dry out. And that would be ready for another hit in a few hours. You can use fast drying compounds. They usually will say 20, 50, 90 minutes or whatever. Or this here, actually, you would leave that overnight. It's not something that's a hurry up product. Anyway, so you would coat that 3 times, sanding it, coating it. Sanders I use. Something like this is great. You got to be careful when it's got lines in it like this. If you saw away on it like that, you'll create lines. So you sand on it diagonally like that so you don't produce any lines. This sander has vacuum port so that when you sand in a customer's house or something like that, you don't send any dust into the air. You don't send any dust into their computers and so on. So that I've used this type when I do work in offices and such. So that's it for today, folks. I hope that that's helpful.